You guys are going to ignore my hair for today. I'm having headache, so I just left my hair that way. Hi, welcome, Pali now. Mm, Let me get this on. Can you see my screen? Can you see it? Can you see my screen now? Let me check it myself with my phone. Okay. Yeah, I think my um, Can you guys see my screen now? I'm trying to make sure everything is showing properly on YouTube too. Uh, so today, I don't know if you want to. Can you see my screen properly? Is it blur? If you want to join on YouTube, I can share the link. Let me share the link so that in case anybody wants to join through YouTube, they can do that. So we said today we are supposed to start with Celpip Reading 4. I'm going to get started. Oh, okay, Helen, thank you so much. Um, so I'm going to start with part 4, and I intend to redo part 3 because yesterday I was already so tired when we did part 3. So I will do part 4 and then I will do part 3. So why I'm scrolling, if you see anyone you feel is hard that you want us to do, that was what we did yesterday. Can you guys even hear me? I don't know. I can't. Let me confirm with my phone. Oh, my phone is connected to Bluetooth. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, you can hear
Can you
me.
guys hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start with part 4, and then we go back to part 3. I'm only going to do those two because I want to leave here at 3 p.m. my time. That's in the next 2 hours. So should we do this, the future of digital currency, or should artificial? Which one? Can somebody pick? Okay, let me just pick one myself. I'll just pick this one. But I wanted to do something on elementary education. Okay, let me do that. Because when I wrote myself 82, okay, somebody said 82. Oh, this one. Okay. I wanted to do elementary education, the one I saw there on elementary education, because during my own time, what they gave me, in my opinion, in my viewpoint, was related to school stuff. Because I used to say, when it comes to Celpip Reading Part 4, oh, let me record this. Okay, it's recorded on. Um, so when it comes to Reading Part 4, is mostly about like social issue, political issues, or like issues that are affecting a whole lot of people. And that is what they always ask about. And then um, they would have different people giving opinion on it. And we, like you always know, the first one is always like, oh, what is the main idea of the article? And like I always say, in your options, you would always see option that will tell you something that is discussed somewhere in the paragraph, maybe somebody's opinion or something. But make sure that you are able to differentiate between the main idea of the whole article and a brief mention of a specific idea that was mentioned somewhere in the passage, or somewhere in a paragraph. So sometimes they will set that trap for you. So, and to actually always to know what the main idea of the article is talks about, what I do for my part 4 is to do skimming. I skim my passage just to get an overall idea, and then I start, for the other ones, I start taking my keywords and go to and search for them, and go to where I can find those keywords and read them and get my answer. So to know what the idea of the whole passage is all about, I, like I said, I skim through and I read. How I skim through is to read through the first the first sentence and the last sentence of the whole of the passage. And in some cases, some in exam, it's usually like their paragraph are usually longer than this, and that is why you do not have the time to actually read everything. Their paragraph are not this short. So when you read the first sentence, and you read the last sentence, it gives you an idea of what the whole thing is talking about, instead of wasting time to go through everything, and you can't even go through everything in the number of time given. So let's start. The integration of the artificial intelligence in the health sector have accelerated dramatically over the past 5 years, with Canadian hospitals and clinics increasingly adopting AI system for everything from diagnostic assistance to administrative efficiency. So since this is like just two sentences, I'm going to just go ahead and read everything. But normally, if the other sentences are in between, I wouldn't read everything. I will just read the last one. So, according to a recent survey, the Canadian Medical Association, approximately 43% of healthcare facilities now use some form of AI technology in their operations, a figure that has doubled since 2020. Okay. So the next one, Dr. Priya Sharma, the chief. I go to the next one. So I read the first line. Here, I can see that there are so many sentences. So I will just read the first line and I will read the last line. Dr. Priya, chief of the radiology at the Toronto General Hospital, has witnessed firsthand the transformative potential of AI in her department. We need smart governance that ensure safety without stiffening the development of the tools that are already saving lives, she argues. So I believe that, oh, she's arguing in favor, but from what I have read, okay, I used to say this: when you are reading, it's not just you reading, it's you reading and making sure you're understanding what you're reading. For instance, when I read this, I understand that, okay, she said witness the transformative potential. So I believe that this thing shows me that, oh, she's in favor of AI in the department. So as I'm reading it, I'm trying to make sure that I am understanding truly the meaning of what I am reading. And this one here, she said she also like she's calling on like smart governance, instead of like saying, oh, we don't use AI, that she's arguing that it is saving life, but just to make sure that it is used in a smart way. So as you read your passage, don't just run through it and not understand what you're reading. Make sure that, oh, when you read it, I understood you understood what it means, because without understanding your passage you can't probably pick the right answer. So the next one, not everyone in the medical community shares Dr. Chama's enthusiasm for AI adoption. Okay, so this tells me that whoever they are going to talk about here is going to be against the enthusiasm, like, oh, it's not so much support. Although I didn't read through, but I know that's what is, because it says not everyone in the medical community shares this person's support or enthusiasm, like happiness about the rapid adoption of AI. So I know this person is going to like be against it, or be in contrast to what this person has to say. Without proper regulation, we risk embedding existing healthcare disparities into automated system that will be difficult to correct later. Okay, in this line now, sometimes, like I said, high vocabulary words will pop up like a whole lot in your passage. If you read it and you're finding it difficult to understand, ignore the high vocabulary word and read the ones you can understand. Without proper regulation, we risk I'm leaving this, existing healthcare disparity. I believe this is not like a difficult word, disparity, into a system that will be difficult. Even if you leave disparity and say we risk existing healthcare into systems that will be difficult to correct later, it makes you understand that what they are saying here, even without these words that some people might say, or automated system, like, you understand the context of what they are trying to say, that if there is no regulation in place, that embedding is like putting the existing healthcare differences, or that the differences in healthcare into the automated system will be difficult to correct later. You still understood that, even while ignoring the high vocabulary words. Why I keep mentioning this or keep saying them over and over again is that, so that in an exam, when you're there and you see something that is making, or you feel like, oh, I'm not understanding the sentence, quickly tell yourself to ignore any word that makes it difficult for you to understand what the sentence is saying. You will still understand the context of what they are trying to say without those words. He warns, for patients like Eliana McKenzie, a 67-year-old cancer survivor from Halifax, the debate is not merely academic. I just go here. This raises a question. Okay, this is where I start. Patient advocacy group has called for clearer disclosure requirement when AI are involved in care decisions. So you understand what this place is talking about. This gives you a general idea of what this passage is all about. It's about, like, this one is patient's perspective. This particular paragraph is patient's perspective, what they see, and they are asking for like disclosure of whatever is involved in making AI decision, instead of keeping them in the dark. Then you go to the next one. Dr. James Wilson, who served on the Canadian Medical Association Technology Ethic Committee, believes the path forward requires balancing innovation with protection. This is the all these ones now. If I was reading this on my own, when I come to this place, I may not really read this full name. I may not really be that important. For instance, the important thing here in this, who serves that, you already know that he serves in a committee, believes that the path forward requires balancing innovation with protection. This is the important point here. All these other ones, like, it's to fill up the sentence. Then the stake in healthcare are simply too high for either regulatory overreach or neglect. That is what he's saying here. The stake in healthcare are simply too high for either regulatory overreach or neglect. Like, even if you don't know what overreach is, which you see that over the top or something, or that what they are saying is that there must be a balance. You don't maybe do too much, overregulate something, or you totally ignore them. So they said that the stake is too high, that they must find a balance to not to overregulate or to ignore or neglect the um what they are talking about. What is it talking about? Innovation. So now, after I've run through, This I took my time, like I'm explaining the sentences, but after you normally if you read your sentences just first and last like this, you do it fast. Like I said, this question I think is, I don't know if it's 12 minutes or 11 minutes, but you always, like I said, you always have 1 minute for your question, or try as much as possible to even use less than 1 minute for one question and move on to the next one if you can't pick an answer. So let's go to our options. So this one, the article mainly discusses the technical aspect of AI algorithm in medical diagnostics. No, they didn't talk about algorithm. Debate over regulating artificial intelligence in healthcare. Financial implication of implementing AI in the hospital. Training requirement for medical professional using AI. We can see that in all of these options, they were talking about AI, but one is the correct one. Like, so the way we did yesterday, like I also want people like to drop what they feel is the best choice. I don't just want to be picking the responses, the options. TikTok people, what do you be? Okay, yeah, me too. Okay. My mouse has been on the option I want to pick, but yeah. YouTube people, which option? TikTok already. D, who said D? Training requirement for medical professional using AI tools. Yeah, okay. Majority has B, and I also chose B. The person that said D, I wouldn't. The reason why the answer can be D is because yes, they are talking about balancing. They are balancing AI in medical field in the medical health in the healthcare system, but they didn't say like, oh, they're going to do a training. They just said they want to like find a. It's just like a debate on how to regulate, because everywhere is talking. If you look at from the beginning, that's why I said from beginning to the end, it's talking about regulation. For instance, even though this person is in support, you can see here that we need smart governance that ensures safety without stifling the development. This is that smart governance is about regulation. If you check about this person's opinion too, without proper regulation, we risk embedding existing healthcare. You see, this person is also everything he said. We don't really know like the full details of what he said, but it's still about like he ended it like it still need to be regulated. And then if you go to this person now, I would say have called for a clear disclosure. Calling for clearer disclosure requirement is also like part of asking that it is regulated, like everything should be made public, that is not that everybody will decide to use AI the way so they want to make sure that everything is as transparent as possible. So if they are calling for this thing is also like calling for that like regulation of how AI is being used. It's not about training, even though there is requirements, but it's not about training. It's about like the regulation of how it is being used, how the transparency of using that AI. And if you check this last one, the stake is too high for either over like regulatory overreach, that's over regulation, or ignoring it totally. A said technical aspect of AI algorithm in medical diagnosis. No, even though like they mention medical diagnosis somewhere in the passage, this is why I said Celpip is about trap. And like when they ask you, the article mainly, they're not saying, oh, what was mentioned like briefly in a place. It has to be what the whole article. For this number one question, is also like in other passages, part one, part two, part one, part three, part four. They always ask you what's the main idea of the whole write-up. It should have to be something that is about the write-up from beginning to the end, not something that was briefly mentioned. And they didn't really talk about algorithm, AI algorithm. Algorithm means we all know. I don't know. Algorithm is like how. Mm, how do I explain what algorithm? You know what social media your algorithm is what comes up on your like your timeline. How exactly what is most discussed, what everybody like that was generally discussed, what every one of them was discussing about. It's not just what was mentioned somewhere. Yes, this it was said somewhere. I think in the first adopting AI from diagnostic assistant to administrative efficiency. So even here, if you said that technical aspect of AI algorithm in medical diagnosis, it can be, because they are just saying that AI is adopted from medical diagnostic assistant to the administrative part of the healthcare. And this one didn't include that part. It's just saying it's not limiting it to only diagnostics. And it didn't even talk about like the algorithm. So I go with B just like everybody, because that is what was discussed, like what everybody's debate, the because this is always like a debate, like opinions is all about. So for the next one, Dr. Sharma's position on AI regulation suggested that not normally, like the first paragraph is like an introduction to the paragraph. I would always start scanning from the next one, and then this one is actually very easy. Sometimes it may not be very easy. So you are going to be using two keyword in your part 4 to scan. The first one is to, because it's always like different people's opinion, so you know that, oh, where is this person that they are talking about? Once you find that person, because that person must have said like different things, like the different sentence, you need to find a second keyword that will help you to locate the exact sentence you are looking at, instead of having to read everything. So now the first keyword you're going to use is that person's name, or one of the opinionists. Sorry, one of the opinionists. So you have to pick the name of the opinionist, and then you have to find another keyword um, that is, he's saying position. Dr. Sharma's position on AI regulation suggests. So what is he arguing? You can the answer. She believes that AI should be completely unregulated. She prioritizes technology advancement over everything. She advocates for patients in oversight that could hinder innovation. Sorry. Okay. She thinks current regulation are sufficient for AI application. So anyway, so they're talking about like AI regulations. Okay. So I was searching with my sorry, I was supposed to be carrying you guys along. So I was searching in my mind. I was looking for where, like, I wasn't reading. I was searching where she talks about like regulation, AI, her position on regulation, and I was scanning and I got to this place. All this place that she was talking about, she was. I didn't really read what she was talking about. I was just scanning to see something that has to do with regulation. So I saw excessive regulation. I don't. You just continue scanning. Like I said, after the first paragraph, you don't really need to go there because nobody's opinion is stated there. So you start here. I found Dr. Sharma, and I was searching for regulation, her position on regulation, I see excessive regulation. So I start reading from the first sentence, where the sentence starts, and this is where the sentence starts, I believe. Right. Okay. Yeah. Dr. Sharma believes that while oversight is necessary, excessive regulation could impede innovation in a field where technological advancement directly correlates with patient outcome. So what this place is saying is that, oh, if you read this sentence now and you don't understand, please ignore high vocabulary. I will still keep saying it in everything, that anything that is high vocabulary. Dr. Sharma believes that while oversight is necessary, over a regulation could, okay, I don't know, impede. I don't know if like people don't know what impede is all about, but you can just ignore it and continue reading. Where technology uh, because this belief why oversight is necessary. This is like a negative sentence. And then it says excessive regulation could impede, and what directly relates to where technological advancement directly correlates with patient outcome. So the option she believes could be completely unregulated. No, she's not saying that it shouldn't be regulated, but she's saying that there shouldn't be um, there shouldn't be overregulation, that there should be like a balance. And also, even when we read that last, when I read that option the first time, personally, I would have actually picked this option, because when we read when I was going through the passage in this place, she said we need smart governance to ensure safety without stifling the development. So she's calling for balance here, that she's calling for balance. Why, yes, you can regulate it, but we don't need something that can make it stifling, something that can make it difficult to develop the AI tools. It's actually in this last sentence too. So, but I'm just trying to show you like how to use your keyword to search, and that is why I did that. If I was answering this question in exam, I would have picked this option right away. She thinks AI regulation are sufficient for she think current regulation are sufficient for AI application. No, she didn't think that. She's actually in support of AI, but she's calling like, oh, that she's not. She doesn't support that the current one is in regulation. So I disagree with that last opinion. Oh, sorry. The next one, Michael Shen's primary concern about AI in healthcare relates to primary concern about AI in healthcare. So I searched for Michael Shen, and then I know that they are talking about his opinion. Then I continue from you don't go back to what you have searched when you know that that person is not there. So I'm looking for Michael Chen. I continue from here. Michael Chen is here. And then I read, well, he said primary concern. So concerning, I'm looking for the primary concern. He might say a whole lot of things, but make sure that you are putting the keyword in mind, the primary concern. A healthcare policy analyst at the University of British Columbia points to the concerning gap in current regulatory framework. We have medical devices undergoing years of testing before approval, yet complex AI algorithm complex AI algorithm making critical healthcare decisions can be implemented with minimal oversight. Chen notes. So let's go to the options. The potential for AI to replace human medical the potential for AI to replace human medical professional, no. Inadequate testing compared to traditional. I think this is what he's talking about. The high implementation cost of AI, no. The inability to of AI to recognize rare medical condition. No, he didn't talk about medical condition. From what I read here, he said he was talking about like it takes them year of testing to get approval for the traditional for medical devices, but for AI decision can be like this is what this place is talking about. The AI decision don't go through the normal testing that they go through to approve the medical device, that the traditional method takes place. So this is what I pick. I don't know if you guys agree with me as well. Somebody said, okay. No, nobody has said anything. Do you guys agree? Like inadequate testing compared to the traditional device. So the next one, Eleanor McCain's Eleanor McCain's experience. Immediately I see this name, I know from when I scanned this thing, even if it might not be the next one. But when I scanned, I skimmed my this thing. I know when I saw this person's name, which is the patient. So sometimes when you read the question after you have skimmed your passage, you actually know exactly where you see what, that you may just go straight and start scanning from there. But if not, you just like start scanning from the next one. And in McKinsey, I know that is where they are talking about like the patient perspective, experience, highlight issue. So I'm going to look at her experience, and her experience is when she was trying to share her story. And I think this is going to be an inferential question. There's something they call inference, like you make inference. It's not going to be like I'm assuming, because like I said yesterday, that you can predict what your answer is likely to be. And I'm predicting that this question is an inference, um, is an inferential question, that you have to make inference from whatever she's saying, because they said experience highlight issues regarding. So I'm going to go and read that her experience, because they may not like directly state the experience. So I'm going to read the experience. My cancer was initially missed by my doctor, but caught by an AI screening program during a routine checkup, she recounts. I'm grateful for the technology, but I was never informed that an algorithm will be analyzing my results alongside my decision. This raises this raises question about informed consent and transparency. I guess that is where the professionals were calling for disclosure. And so let's go and read. Patients' privacy and data security. The liability of AI. Actually, like I'm already laughing about this auction because I know like it's already seeming like a whole lot of like traps. Like there are so many related options there. The reliability of AI diagnostic system, the transparency and informed consent, then the cost of assisted medical care. This one is eliminated instantly. So before I choose my answer, can you guys pick an answer? Yeah, this one now. Patient's privacy and data security, transparency and informed this thing. They're almost like informed consent. They're almost like the same thing. But I would, and then some people may even choose the reliability of AI diagnostic system since they said it was AI that caught her this thing. Me, I'm going with C. Michelle Chi is going with A. You two people, which one did you people go with? B. This is an inferential question. Remember, I already said it that it's going to be an inferential question, even without like what is stated here. This raises a question about consent and transparency. Why this and which is why I'm going with C. A, like I said, is kind of confusing. That's why I said that was going. I was that was why it made me laugh when I saw the option initially, because I know people are going to like fall for. They didn't ask for AI for her consent exactly. For her consent for use AI exactly. That's why like transparency and informed consent. Private patient privacy. I may not really agree with patient privacy. You can use AI without breaching patient privacy, like adding or data security, because you may not give her detail. They may not give, oh, this is the patient's name or something. For instance, in my workplace, we, in fact, we actually use what's that Copilot. We are allowed to use it, but there is a kind of security that they put on the Copilot, and you as a person, when you are using it too, you do not put obviously you will not put in information that will give out sensitive things about your workplace or this thing. You can just like, oh, like more general information is what you put inside AI. So like there is nothing that was talking about data security. They may not put her personal data. They may just put the diagnosis, the kind of illness and did not mention the patient's name or something. So I don't think it's patient privacy and data security, because and if you continue reading this particular paragraph, that is why they are calling for clearer disclosure. And then it's also info that it raises a question, highlight issues regarding, raises a question regarding informed consent and transparency. Highlight issues, it raises question. That's like the synonym or the paraphrase. And that is why I go with C. According to the article, what percentage of Canadian healthcare, I think it's 43. I can't remember what he read, but I think it's 43. I like to go there. What percentage of Canadian healthcare we are using AI? No, they said double. We are using AI in 2020. Oh, they said it doubled after 2020, but since 2020. So in I know I saw 43 too. So let's see what they said. Okay. Since 2020, does what percentage of Canadian healthcare experience we are using AI in 2020? I'll pick doubled. No, 43, sorry. It has doubled since 2020. Abi? Sorry, which one do you people agree? Now I'm confused. But okay. No, divided by 2, 21.5. Now use, you see, that's the English. Now use 43% of this thing. Now use, that is currently used. Oh, the passage is cut. Sorry, let me go back to TikTok people. That's the problem with TikTok. Oh, well, is it better? Oh, triple A. Can you chat me on? Can you private chat me later? My mind is always like to reach out to you. Can you chat me later? Though I'm so busy that. Ah, you have missed. Oh, we have missed you here. You are welcome, Anastasia. We have started part first. So TikTok. Oh no, this thing has gone back. Can you people see it now? I think it's better now. Mm. So let me go back to this thing. It says, according to a recent, we are in number 5, Anastasia. I know you are just joining. Can you do 79? Okay, because of you, I'll do it after this one. Then I will go to part 3. I want to do part 3 because part 3, I did like yesterday. I didn't like the way I did that part 3. I was not in my best sleep. I was already so tired by the time we did it. So okay, he said it's better. So he said, according to the what percentage of the healthcare facility we are using AI in 2020? Some like this question now. Another thing, what made me question myself was I know that TikTok, I say TikTok, Celpip is not always straightforward. They hardly give you like something that you just go and see. So it's I was kind of alert on this question. As easy as it might seem, it's not that easy. So, and I read that sentence. I read it. It's, it said, according to survey by, okay, approximately 43% of healthcare facility now, that is currently, now use 43%, use it now use for some form of AI now in their operation, a figure that has doubled. It means that it has doubled from what it used to be. So that means what it used to be is half of this 43% of present usage. I don't know if what I said makes sense. 43%, half of it is 20.1. This is the current usage, but they are saying this current usage is the double of what it used to be in since 2020. And then we go to the filling the comment with the best option, filling the gap, like I used to call it. The 79 you're asking, is it for part 4? Can you confirm that it's for part 4? So when we finish this one, I'll do it before we go back to part 3. This article presents dash look at AI in healthcare. Balanced, superficial, technical, biased. This one is easy. What do you guys agree? A, B, C. I'm picking A. Do you guys agree? A balanced look at AI. Present, is still asking you what the overall article. D. D is biased. It's not biased now. They said this article, when you see this article, it's talking about from beginning to the end. This article presents a dash look at AI. Abi? We already said it, sorry, in this first one, debate over regulating, like the overall there, everybody is just calling that, oh, it shouldn't be like over regulated, it shouldn't, even the patient advocacy, they are calling for disclosure. It's just talking about like making sure there is a balance when you are using AI. Don't use it in a way that is compromising or just is what is just what all the article is talking about. They are Yes, they are not agreeing. If you, like I said before, they are not agreeing. They have different opinion. But if you read their last sentences, it's always about balance. Let me read each everybody's last sentences again. We need smart governance that ensures safety without stifling the development of the tool. That's the tool that they're talking about is AI, of tools that are already saving life. So they said that we need smart governance. Yes, we need regulation without stifling. We need smart regulation. That means you have to find a balance. Don't go and overregulate and don't go and underregulate. So you need to be smart when you are regulating AI. What this is what this person is talking about. This one too. After the Michael Shen talked about his own opinion, his own opinion was more like what they go through before verifying medical devices. But he ended it with, without proper regulation, we risk, he's still talking about proper regulation, we risk embedding existing healthcare disparity into automated system that could be difficult. So he's not saying, like they're talking about balance use. So without proper regulation is the word here. So that they are all talking about, yes, they have different views. This person, a clearer disclosure when AI are involved. They are not saying, even this person, the patient was is grateful for the technology, but she now has concern with the fact that his her permission or consent was not sought after before they use AI on her. So they are asking for clearer disclosure when AI is involved. They are not saying don't use it, but and bias is not even, you said D. Bias is when you are favoring something. Bias is not even like a something I would even consider. Bias is when you are not being objective. Then the last one, the stake in healthcare are simply too high for either over, I don't want to use this word again, over regulation or neglect. So that means that the stake is too high, that there must be a balance. So they shouldn't over regulate and they shouldn't neglect. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So the next one, why I appreciate Dr. Sharma's emphasizing about how AI has dash. I have to read this remaining this thing so that you can understand what they're saying. I find myself more aligned with Shane's perspective. So Dr. Sharma's enthusiasm about how AI has improved diagnostic, the first one, reduce administrative burden. No, I don't agree. Improve diagnostic accuracy. I would pick this first and then read the rest of the option. Lowered healthcare costs. No. Replace human judgment. No. This is what I would pick, and this is more suited option. Do you guys agree? Then the next one is this. Okay, this lack of diverse training is particularly troubling since it could be dash. This lack of the training that Chen is talking about, that is the years that they have to go through to if you remember, you see how I'm reading these places, I'm still remembering what was said in the passage, and it's helping me. I didn't have to go back, but because I was reading to understand, it helps me to make sure that I'm picking the right answer. So this lack of, well, let me read again. This lack of training data, that because he mentioned somewhere that they take years for them to verify like medical devices. This is what this place is talking about, especially from, since it could then perpetuate existing healthcare inequalities. No, I don't think this is the last one. Slow down diagnostic process. No, increase hospital liability concern. It make technology necessary unnecessarily complex. I'm going with, okay, let me ask you people the one you go with, and then I'll pick my option. Which one do you guys agree go with? Which option? Because this one now is tricky. It's a tricky question. I always like to hear everybody's opinion when I feel the question is tricky. Uh, what do you guys agree with? TikTok people, YouTube people? Which option? Somebody said D. You're just coming now. Okay. You're welcome. You may not really understand where we are, but just key in. We are going to start another one after this one. C. Yeah, me too. That's what I pick. C. One person is saying C on YouTube. One person is saying D. Okay, another person is saying A or YouTube. You see, this is a confusing question, and I like questions like this because I don't like it, but like in this class, like I like questions like this, like so that we have different opinions. I choose C. Let me start with the person that picked D. This one said, make technology unnecessarily complex. Actually, it's not even technology because if you read, and I didn't, I would never, let me, this is what I pick, but let me go and show you why it is not D. Let me show you why it's not D. The reason why it's not D is because he said, okay, let's read it from here. He said, I find myself, okay, let's start it from here. I find myself more aligned with Chen's perspective, which is his perspective on the number of years that training goes through, right? The training of the lack of training of the lack of diverse training data is particularly troubling. So where is that place? Years of testing before approval. Yet, AI algorithm makes critical health decision. Um, Yet, complex AI algorithm making critical health decision can be implemented with minimal oversight. Minimal note. He incites instances where AI trained on non-diverse data sets have produced biased recommendation for certain demographic. So he's not saying you said make because they don't use diverse data. That means it's not even complex. That means they only use limited data. It means that it's not complex, that the data they use is kind of very, very limited. But what this is actually an inferential question too. An inferential question means you have to make a guess based on the information provided. So taking a guess now, if there is none, if they do not have enough data and it produces biased recommendation for certain demographic, it means it leaves, sorry, I don't, it leaves the hospital open to liability, that something can go wrong because they do not have enough data to make that decision. They are making is biased, and if you make decision based on biased information, there is a risk that that decision could be wrong, and if it is wrong, then you're going to, what's it called, if it's wrong, then there is you are opening the hospital up for liability, that somebody can actually sue them, and if the decision that they took based on that limited data goes wrong, then a perpetuate inequalities. They didn't say anything about like inequality, even though like, okay, yeah, perpetuate existing healthcare inequality. Yeah, this recommendation for certain graphic might go like towards inequality against towards those demographic they mentioned, but they not like say that, oh, that is existing healthcare inequalities. They just say like certain demographic. But I think this is an inferential question, and it is more about like what fits in, since it could increase the hospital liability concern. Like I just feel like this is the better option that fits in. Yeah. So we move in, we move. Eliana Miken's experience is quite telling. She benefited from technology but wasn't properly informed about its use. This highlights how current healthcare protocols dash when it comes to AI implementation are overly restrictive. No, how significant gap? No, no, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know yet. Prioritize efficiency over ethics. Yeah, I think this is the answer. Focus on too much consent. How healthcare? Okay, this highlights how current healthcare protocol Oh no. Do they prioritize efficiency over ethics? This one too is like difficult choice when it comes to AI implementation. This is the one I would choose. I don't know. Which one will you guys choose? I just feel like this fits in the most because it's saying let me hear from you guys before I just state my reason for picking this. Although this is confusing, but this is focused too much on patient consent. Yeah. What do you guys? You guys are not picking an option. Read the question again. Okay, the question starts here. Hmm. Eleanor McCann's experience is quite telling. She benefited from technology but wasn't informed about its use. This highlights how current healthcare protocols dash when it comes to AI implementation. Scroll down to the scroll, please scroll down the passage to where? Okay, to where Eliana is. Is it not where to where Eliana is, right? This should be here. Yeah. The answer is not in the passage directly. It's also an inferential question. How significant gap? Somebody pick B. Oh, another person pick B. Me, I pick D, but I will just in this one I will go with I will pick what people pick. But if I was writing the exam, I will pick D. Okay, Pali now. Okay, shows D. Okay, let's do it. Majority of C has come in. So now we don't even we have C. Let's see what C prioritize ethics. I was also confused about C. But let me say my reason. I don't know if it will make sense. My reason for choosing D is this. They talked about, oh, this person was her experience, she benefited from AI but wasn't informed about it. I think this is they now said this highlight how current healthcare protocols, because even though yeah they treated this person, but this person now raised a concern and why did they not inform them? And they now highlight how the current healthcare protocol now focus about too much on consent, that if they want to treat you when it comes to AI implementation, like this is not like directly in the passage, is like what prediction, like I said, educated taking we have how many C? Three C's, one D, two B. Okay, I will just give it to the majority of the we have four C now. Okay, let me go with, but me I still like me, I took D. So two D, we are two D, two D, three or four C, and one B. So let me give it to the C people, but I still don't agree. I agree with D, but I don't want to pick what I always say. So I just because this is an interactive class, except if we have another person that will come and support D. Another person has supported D. Oh, we need D. Cynthia, D. Me too. I took D. So we have two D on TikTok. Me three. We are still chatting. It's C that is leading, but me I agree with D. But let's continue. Maybe one other person will go and say D. What Wilson makes the most sensible point in the article. We need regulatory framework that dash without preventing beneficial innovation from reaching patients. So we need regulatory framework that is kind of like balances that prioritizes patient safety, minimizes government oversight, can adapt quickly, limit AI application. No, I'm using elimination. No, I'm going to go with this. Oh, then okay, if you're confused, Dr. Wilson, let me take it to who is Dr. Wilson? James. Okay, this is him. Balancing with protection. Mhm. We need framework that can evolve rapidly as technology itself, ensuring patient safety. Why? You see, I don't know, prioritizes patient safety without preventing network. This is what I would choose. A. Do you TikTok people? Do you people agree? YouTube agrees with me. One person on YouTube agrees with me. TikTok. A. Okay. Um, So we will submit, but I have my reservation about this particular response. Number four of this. So one thing I want you to get from this number four, part four of Celpip reading is that they ask you inferential question that most sometimes, a lot of times, that is not something that you will see from the passage. It's something that you have to, like, based on what they told you, what is the most logical conclusion you can arrive. They want you to arrive at a conclusion that is logical based on the information given. Yeah. So let's submit and see. How? That can adapt quickly. Wow. Uh-uh. Even the D was not the option. Then let's read why they didn't agree with us. Okay, the lack of diverse training data is particularly troubling since it could be. Oh, okay. The person that went with A is actually correct. The article states that AI trained on diverse data have produced bias recommended without proper regulation. We risk embedding into automated system. But how does that have to do with perpetuate inequality? I still don't agree with them, but okay, the person that went with A is correct. So let's see the other option. You see, this is the usefulness of self-test. When you fail, you go and see, oh, what did I go wrong, girl? So what happened? This highlights the current healthcare protocol when it comes to AI implementation. Okay, this highlights how the current protocol have significant gap. Oh, yeah, this is the best option. I've not read the option, but now it makes sense that they put it this way when it comes to AI implementation. This article content experience. because- Okay, yeah, significant gap. Please, at the beginning, did you read everything first? We did skimming first. Skimming, like we read the last line and the first line and the last line of each sentences. We will do another one now, and before we do three. Then this one, no, focus too much on patient consent. No. Ah, what happened? This is not the option that was given. I thought, what's that one? Focus too much on. Okay, focus too much. Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is their option, and it makes sense when I read it now. The current gap. Hmm? Ah. So this one, when Wilson makes the most sensible point in the article. We need regulatory framework that dash without preventing innovation from reaching that can adapt quickly. Yeah, adapt quickly was mentioned, but I still like, I don't know, without wow. Into that evolve rapidly as technology itself without preventing innovation. Oh, okay. So that means that this is his own main idea. Wow. So this is a poor practice, but like a poor performance. I will, if in exam you miss a whole lot of this, like in your practice. That means in your, you need to have everything in the other ones to maintain a good grade. 79 anesthesia, right? So this one, let's do this quickly, and then we can do part three. Part three, I will only do one, and then because I have somewhere to be in the next 2 hours. So let's start. In an increasing digital world, the question of whether digital, I'm going to skim through the passage to know what the main article is all about. In an increasing digital world, the question of whether digital literacy should be a core component of school curricula has sparked considerable debate among educators, parents, and policymakers. Okay, the debate is among educators, parents, and policymakers. And then, according to Principal Diane Chen, 87% of students who completed the program reported feeling more confident navigating online environments safely and critically evaluating information sources. So digital, whether digital, the program is digital literacy. So this shows that Principal Diane is in support, because he said it's 7% of the people. I'm just trying to tell you people that when what I read, the meaning of what I understood from what I read, Principal Diane is in support that, because it's 7% of people who did the program, digital literacy, um, do well, are more confident, and when they are using online environment and in their evaluation, and they can evaluate information sources like critically. Then digital literacy isn't just about teaching students how to use computers or smartphone. They already know that, explain Shen. That is that principle. Ev- every hour spent on digital literacy is an hour not just spent on history, literature, or mathematics. Okay, sorry, this is where this sentence started. We are already struggling to cover essential content in their core subject, Donovan argues. That means from this place now, I see that, oh, there are two people that talked in this passage now. One is Sheehan still talked in this passage. He said their student already knows how to use smartphone. That means what this thing is saying, like the next sentence is about, like, there are other skills behind using digital literacy that is beyond this smartphone, and that is maybe what he would that what will continue next. Although I wouldn't read this normally, I just skim the first line. It gives me an idea of what I expect that will be in this passage. And then, like this person now said, we are already struggling to cover essential content in this core subject. From this, I'm assuming that this person is not so much in support of this digital literacy, because he's saying we're already struggling to cover essential content in the core subject, which is mathematics, normal school subjects. So when you're reading, try to make sure that you're understanding. So this person will be in disagreement. Then parents have mixed feeling about mandatory digital literacy education. Okay, parents are in between, so they are in the middle ground. And a recent survey by Canada Education Association found that 72% of parents believe digital literacy should be taught in school, though opinions vary widely on how much curriculum time it deserves. Let me read this again. A recent survey by Canadian Education Association found 72% of parents believe digital literacy should be taught in school. Okay, they agree with the parent, though opinions vary widely on how much time. This is the main this thing of them. Though opinion very much on how much time it deserves. Then the next one, Dr. Aminat Hassan, a researcher specializing in education technology at the University of British Columbia, emphasizes that the digital literacy education needs to evolve beyond basic computer skill. Okay. And then this says, this way, we are not adding to an already crowded curriculum, but enhancing how we teach traditional subjects. This way, we are not adding to already curriculum, but enhance how we teach traditional curriculum. So he's, I think he's arguing that if we use computer like the way it is used, like they need to like evolve the way computer skills is used and also used in other like subjects. That's like my own conclusion from what I feel will be in the passage. So this is how I run through the. You can't hear me. Is my mic off? Let me see. Can you guys hear me?
Can you can you guys hear me?
I can hear myself on my phone. I don't know. Okay, yes.
I can hear myself.
Cynthia, can you like go out and come back in? Probably it's from you because other people can hear me and I checked it with my phone and I can hear myself. So let's go to. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't look at the screen. Okay, it was sent some minute ago. Okay. The article mainly discusses that, let's see, the effectiveness of digital literacy program in Canadian school, the debate over including the digital literacy in school curricula. This is what I will pick. Method of teaching for teaching students to use digital devices. No. Impact of technology on traditional educational value. What do you guys agree with? I go with B. B. TikTok people, what do you guys agree? Okay. Is it? Yeah. B2. Although like method of teaching students to use, maybe it's something I'm feeling this is one of the things that they were talking about, that was talked about somewhere in one passage, in one paragraph. This one, but this is the one that covers what the whole article is all about. This one is what their debate is about. So since we all agree, I would proceed to the next one. If anybody disagree, the person should let me know. Principal Diane Shane believes that digital literacy education should primarily focus on. So for this, I would take Principal Diane Shane. I would also like believe that digital literacy education should focus on, what should they focus. I'm not going to go back to this first paragraph because I know that, yeah, although he talked about something there, but it was more like saying the percentage of people like that are or percentage of people doing well with based on their digital literacy. So I'm going to go to where I see Shane next, and then I would continue reading from there. I have read this line before. I know the answer is not there. That literacy education should primarily focus on. It is about, because she is saying that it is beyond using computers or smartphone. Remember, we read that before. But now, if I continue, it is about equipping them with the critical thinking skill to distinguish between reliable information and misinformation, understand digital privacy, and use the technology ethically. That is what his focus is all about. Teaching students advanced computer programming skill, no. Helping students become proficient with digital devices, no. Developing students' ability to evaluate online information critically. This is what I agree with. And preparing students for technological focused career. This is what I agree with. Do other people agree with me? Yeah. Okay. We already have two people agreeing. Anastasia, are you still here? What did you agree with? You're the one that said we should do 79. Is this not the 79 we are doing? Mark Donovan, McDonovan's concern about digital literacy education suggests that he dash. So I will go to McDonovan and then his own concern. I'll look for McDonovan. This is where I see McDonovan, and because I stopped here, I started. I was scanning with my eye actually. I was searching for McDonovan. So I saw him here when I wanted to start scanning from here. McDonovan. So I start from where um the sentence starts, because when you want to read what the person's opinion is, always make sure you are reading from where the sentence starts. However, not everyone agrees with this approach. McDonovan, a history teacher at the same school, worries about the impact on traditional subjects. Every hour spent on digital literacy is an hour not spent on other subjects. I don't want to read their names. On other subjects. We are already struggling to cover, okay, this is his concern. We are already struggling to cover essential content in this core subjects. That's like his concern. Believes technology has no place in modern education. No. Prioritize traditional academic subjects over digital skill. No, really. Think digital literacy should be taught only at home. No. Support integrating digital literacy across all subjects. I think I will go with B. Concern about digital literacy suggests that he prioritizes traditional academic subject over. Yeah, this is the answer. Yeah, B is the answer. Yeah, because D, support integrating literacy. No, he didn't say anything about integrating it. He just said we are already struggling to cover essential content in the core subject, which is history, maths, English, or the likes. The person that actually, I know somebody talked about integrating it into subject, and I think it's somewhere. I think it's Dr. Aminat that said something like that when we were reading, like it's in this paragraph that I talked about. But for Donovan is just like he doesn't agree with the principle that about digital education. He's just saying that the thing he say worries about the impact on traditional subjects, because he's saying any 1 hour you spend on digital literacy is an hour that you did not spend on the core subject. That means he didn't say anything about like integrating. He didn't even say, oh, it should be integrating. He said, we are already struggling. He's just like saying, like doing digital literacy it's like redirecting idea away from digital literacy. Mhm. We are still in number 3. So let's go to number 4. According to the article, what do Finland and Estonia do differently regarding digital literacy? So I will just go ahead and look for Finland and Estonian. From the ones I've read so far, I've almost covered. I know that we didn't see anything about Finland. So always know like, oh, sometimes you don't have to start from the beginning when you are using your keyword. My keyword now is Finland and Estonia. I'm going to look for Finland from the next line. I'm looking for Finland and um, Estonia. Okay, I see Finland, I see Estonia. And then let me read what they said. She points to country like, that's the doctor, Dr. Hassan. She points to country like Finland and Estonia that has successfully integrated. I said that he was the one that talked about integrating digital literacy core subjects that successfully integrated digital literacy across subject area rather than treating it as a standalone course. Okay. This. They make digital literacy courses optional for students. No, they have eliminated traditional subjects in favor of technology. No, they incorporate digital literacy skill within existing subject. This is the answer They require parents to participate in digital. This is what I picked. Yeah. Ah, Adekunle, is it the Abi? Bisola, is it the this one that you believe in? A. Sorry, I didn't see your option at first. Which one is A? Is it number four or number three you were referring to? And then number four, you guys agree with me for C, right? And this, okay, Cynthia agrees with me. Let's move on. The survey mentioned in the article indicates that the survey mentioned in the article indicate that dash. So the survey mentioned in the article indicate that I think the survey is the one from the principal. The first paragraph. Most Canadian parents oppose. Okay, there are maybe two survey oppose digital literacy in school. No, a significant majority of parents support teaching digital skills. Parents unanimously agree on how digital skills should be taught. No. Parents believe digital should replace the traditional education. Okay, this should be in this last when they talked about parents in this third one. So what does the survey say? So let's look for the survey. A recent survey, yeah, by parents believe, but how much, but opinion varies on how much. I remember that how much that should be taught. They believe it should be taught in school. Most parents. Okay, this is the answer. I don't know. Let me read the other option again. A single majority of parents about teaching. Ah, most oppose. No, not oppose. Sorry, they support. I sorry, I missed this out. I didn't support. A significant majority of parents support digital education. Parents unanimously agree on how. No, they don't agree. They have differing opinion on how it should be taught, but they agree that it should be taught. But how much curriculum time it deserve is what they disagree on. That they don't really agree on. Then parents should believe that digital literacy should replace traditional subjects. No, they didn't say it should replace traditional subjects. Do you guys agree? Okay, question three. Okay, when we finish, I will go back to that question three and we'll look at it. Thank you. Can we also be writing the names of the Yeah, if it helps you to remember where to go to, exactly, you can quickly put chain, you put A, chain A, this one B, this one. If it will help you, whatever you do is about somebody is asking if they can write the name of the writers down so you know where to search. Actually, that's one thing, good thing about practice. For practice, you should make sure that you are doing something that works for you. I may actually do all of these things and you go try it and it will not work for you, or you may try it or impute other method to it. It's not like there is no like straight method or the same method for everybody. If you are practicing and you feel like, oh, I need to quickly know where somebody's name, because obviously they are going to ask you this person's opinion. So while you are kind of skimming your paragraph and you are seeing name, you can quickly write it. Don't write the full name like McDonovan. You can write one of the name, Donovan or this thing, or McD or something. Just a way to make it fast for you. And write B. That's the paragraph B. This one A, this one D, this one. So it can help you. So when you want to quickly search it, if it will help you, you can try it. Actually, you can try it. You can try it during practice. Whatever you do, don't go and try it in the exam. Make sure you are trying it in practice and get used to it before you go to your exam. So let's see. This one, someone said A. Oh, okay, B, yeah. Okay, B. Then let's go to the next one. This article highlights dash surrounding literacy education, ongoing controversy, scientific research, political. This is what I pick. Technological innovation, no. the controversy. Do you guys agree? Naf goes with A, yeah. You two people, do you agree? You two people, you're not dropping comments. You don't agree with A. Okay, I move on so that we can quickly do three and I can go. Mm, I find myself agreeing with Dr. Hassan's perspective about Dr. Hassan is in last paragraph about these skills perspective that these skills should be dash rather than taught separately, incorporated. He was talking about incorporating. I can remember from when we read incorporating it inside the existing curriculum, taught exclusively by parents, integrated across curriculum, delayed until university education, focus on coding activities. I will go with this. Do you guys agree? Explain D. Is it for this question? This is it for the number one of this? Um, Cynthia, are you talking about number one of this? You said I should explain the. Is it this technological innovation? Okay, yeah, I guess this technological innovation, right? This article, they said this article highlights the dash surrounding digital literacy. They didn't really talk about the education. Like when you see anything that says okay, yeah. Anything that says something about technological innovation, sorry, that says about this article, it means what is all the article, what are they talking about? Is like all of them, like the controversy about digital education. If you look at the first paragraph, it was talking about Dr. It started with it ended with Dr. Shane talking about how like 80% of people who completed um digital literacy they do well and know how to navigate online safely and everything. Like, and when you read about everything that he said, and even because if you say technological innovation, then what about McDonald's um opinion? His opinion is like okay in disagreement with the principal, but he's not even talking about like technological innovation. He was favoring other subjects, so it's a controversy. Like it's like a debate. They're having like a debate surrounding digital literacy. That is what it's all about. They did not like really say anything about technological innovation, like the whole passage. It might be mentioned somewhere. Something might be technological innovation might be mentioned somewhere, but when they say this article, make sure there is something that I said it in the last one. I don't know if you just joined. It must be something that is said in the whole passage, not just in a particular place. And this one integrated into the curriculum. It was said here in the Dr. Hassan when he was also talking about Finland and Estonia. And then let's continue. As someone who works in technology, I have seen firsthand how crucial it is for people to develop critical thinking about digital information. Mark Donovan's concern about curriculum time are dash, but I think he misses the point that in today's world, digital literacy is as fundamental as traditional literacy. Entirely unfounded. No, it doesn't fit in. From what I read, he wants to acknowledge. He said McDonald's concern about curriculum times is this place. He's actually trying to acknowledge that yes, his opinion is understandable. This is the right answer that we'll pick. I've read this one. It's not unfounded. He's trying to acknowledge him, but then he said he misses the point that in today's world, motivated, no, it's not politically motivated. It's not scientifically proven either, because where is the proof? There is no data to prove what he said. But this one it's what fits in. He said his concerns are somewhat understandable. Yes, even though I understand, but That's what this person is saying. Even though I understand McDonald's concern, but I think he misses the point in today's world. So this fits in. Cynthia, which one are you saying D? Scientifically proven. Because this bot already like this he understand, but then he misses the point. I don't know. Okay, no worries. So let's continue. The approach at the Westfield seems promising, though I wonder if their program dash. The approach at Westfield seems promising, though I wonder if their program dash let's goes far beyond addressing algorithm bias, no? Adequately prepare students for future technologies, considers the need of disadvantaged students, involves parents in the learning process. Let me read this again. The approach at Westfield seems promising, though I wonder if their program, I don't know, I picked this, but let me read, goes far beyond algorithm bias. They talk about algorithm bias. Let me look. Okay, I'll take Westfield because this place I don't really know what will fit in without having to. Let me see if I can see anywhere they mention Westfield. But before I do that, I might just pick this and like in exam, I will pick this one. Like what I feel is what I will go with, and I will continue. But then I will go back and review this answer. I will take Westfield and look for it in the passage and make sure that I'm confirming that this fits in the right answer. So let's read the last one and then I go back. What's particularly okay? You said you think the answer is D. What's D? Involves parents in the process. Okay, we'll confirm that later. What's particularly interesting? What's particularly interesting is the generational knowledge transfer mentioned by Sarah Patel, where children are dash after learning the skills at school. This demonstrates a broader societal benefit of literacy education. I think Sarah Patel. I'm going to look for Sarah Patel. I don't even know if okay. What I did is I didn't go back to the beginning. I already like have a rough idea because I have gone through part A and B. So I wanted to quickly scan for Patel in this place, like here from part 3 and and immediately I came up, I saw Patel here. So this is Sarah Patel. And I saw like, so they said, what's particularly interesting about generational transfer by mentioned by Patel was like children are dash after learning skills at school. Therapeutals whose daughter attend Westfield strongly support this initiative. Okay, she supports the initiative of teaching digital literacy. Sorry, my daughter taught me how to spot fake news after taking digital literacy course. These skills these skills I never learned in school, but are absolutely essential. Patel says, Patel says, let's say, children are challenging their parents' authority, no, developing superior technical skills, educating their parents. Okay, this is what I'll pick. Becoming overly independent on technology. This is what I'll pick here. Do you guys agree? Going back to the previous one, I think the answer, yes, immediately I read this, I know that actually we are going to have to go back because I see where they mentioned Westfield when I read it. Yeah. So I know I was going to go back and read and reread and confirm because I already saw Westfield for future technologies. So the part who's that there's Westfield. Okay. Mhm. What's that question again? Sorry. This approach. Hmm. The approach at Westfield seems promising, though I wonder if the program adequately prepares students for future technology. I'm doubting this my response now. But it's not algorithm. Let me use when I'm confused, I use elimination. So if you are confused about the answer, I use elimination. This is not algorithm. Consider the needs of disadvantaged students. I don't think it fits in. I don't know. Prepares parents in the involves parents in the learning process. Is it B or D? Is let's go for B. Okay. You two people, are we going for B? You two had other thought at tone, which means is supporting the use of technology. Adequately prepares. The approach was is seems promising, though I wonder if the program adequately seems promising. I'm not sure. Even if we submit, I still everybody's going with B. That all of us we are going with B doesn't make it correct, anyways. But but I will submit now. Oh, that's a fake new one. Open the options again. It's open. Can you say it? Yeah. Goes far enough in addressing. This is out of it. This is out of it. They didn't mention. This is where it is. Sorry. I think it's B. Okay, let's go with B. Okay, let's go with B. Let me submit. Either B or D. That's what I know that the answer for future technologies. I'm just very reluctant. Okay. Yay, we did it. Yeah. So let's do part three. One question in part three. Why is this not responding? Okay. Do anybody have any particular one in part three that they want us to? Yay, Naz, yes. Cynthia, it's good to laugh. Oh, laugh at me. Which one? Do anybody have any particular one in part three that we need to look at? Or I should just pick one? Norway's Television Island. But Tradig Daddy, yes. Should we do this one? This one looks like it's going to be tough. Choose anyone. Okay. Let's go with try it's not Daddy Great. Okay. So let's do number three. I want ish of paper. So let's go. This one, 30 grades. We are going to skim. We are going to skim the passage. and then we are going to go to the answer. This is the last question I'm doing for today, so that I can carry on with my day and everybody can go sleep. Tardigrades collo- colloquially termed as, I don't know the meaning of colloquially, so I'm going to ignore it. Tardigrades termed water bears or moss miglets are microscopic eight-legged invertebrates, first documented by German zoologist Johann August Ephraim Goeze in 1977. To date, taxonomists has catalogued over 1,300 species, each demonstrating remarkable morphological adaptation suited for suited to their respective ecological niche. They want to use English to finish us in this one. You are coming. Where are you? Oh, you're just coming. We are just about starting this one. Nay, you just joined us. We have done two part four. We have done two part four. We went back to part three, so we want to do this one. We are just starting, so we can start all over again. And this is the last question for today. Oh, you don't want to cheat? You have done this one. Okay, let's do one that somebody has not done. Personally, I don't also like doing one that I've done before. Have anybody done? Which one is Atacama for? Atacama for catching net. Has anybody done 30 yet? 30. Has anybody done 30 before I start it? It's not when I start it. You want us to do maple syrup? Maple syrup. Michelle, are you saying we should do maple syrup or which one? That, which one is maple syrup number? Do you know the number? Which number is it? I'm looking for the maple syrup. Maple syrup. I can't find, and okay, this one I've done it before. Have I done it? I can't even remember. This one, it is because I've done it. Strategic maple syrup. I've done it before. This one. Well, okay. I will just be asking you people. But I have done it before, although it's been a very long time. I can't even remember the last time. The time. I think sometime in February. That's when I did it. You can't write dates. Or March. And I remember I did it with somebody. Do you guys want us to do this one? You two people are not even talking. So let's do this one. I would, but I will just leave you guys to like pick the options since I've done it personally. And the reason why I actually agreed to do it is I like to do something that is very common in Canada. As much as like yeah, they give you something that you're not aware of. They always like this maple syrup is something that Canada is known for. Even that their flag is maple leaf. It's maple leaf that they draw on it. So it's something that is very common. Like that's the same way they gave me wheat. They produce wheat too. During my exam, I feel like during the exam, something that is very common, and that's why like sometimes I don't even like all those big names that we see in the passages. So let's do this maple syrup. Nestled in the unassuming town of Laurelville, Quebec, lies one of the most peculiar commodity stockpile, Canada's Global Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve. And this stockpile serves as both economic buffer against market volatility and a guarantor of supplies continuity during years of diminished yield. So what I will just note down for my paragraph A, I will note down stockpile location, and volatility. Market, MKT, volatility. I just write vola. So that's what I wrote here. That's what they talked about, the economic market volatility. So this passage is talking about this sentence I read. Next, okay, let me remove the words I can't really come up with the meaning offhand. Let me leave next to that. I'll say, in the unassuming town of Lorryville, Quebec, lies one of the most peculiar commodity stockpile. Canada's global strategic maple syrup reserve. You can leave all these Canada lies the okay, a peculiar commodity, the maple syrup reserve. You see how I leave all these things and pick the ones I can. In the unassuming town of Lorryville, in the town of Lorryville, Quebec, lies one of the world's most peculiar commodity, maple syrup reserve, commodity stockpile, the stock, the reserve. This is this. It's telling you the location of this thing. So you see how you read your sentences. If any word seems so big that it can actually make you panic, just ignore it and move and read the rest. This stockpile serves as both economic buffer against market volatility and a guarantor of supply continuity during years of diminished yield. So if you read here now, serves as both economic, even if you don't know what buffer means, against economic, against market volatility that is moving up and down of the market, and a guarantor of continuous supply. This is saying supply continuity. This is just telling you that this reserve just ensure that there is continuous supply of maple syrup every time when there is lack during years of diminished yield. So you read for meaning. The impetus of creating the reserve emerged from pronounced instability that characterized maple syrup market throughout the late 20th century. Okay, this is saying the reason for creating this reserve. Reason for the reserve. I'll just write reason for the reserve. That's B. That's what I can read here. Is why they made that reserve is because of the instability. So this mechanism effectively insinuates producers from capricious nature of agricultural market while maintaining price equilibrium from Akwezenaya. Sorry, you are welcome. I know you are late. This is the last one, but you can still join, and we are just starting this passage. This mechanism effectively insinuates producers from the capricious natures of agricultural market while maintaining the price equilibrium for consumers. So this place is talking about uh, you can ignore this that this place is talking about how it maintains price for the consumers. This place now, it might actually be like hard, like if you read it, it might be difficult for you to make sense of what insulates producers from the capricious nature of agriculture. I really don't know what that means, capricious nature. But I can take a guess based on on the context, but I actually do not know the meaning of capricious, and I'm not going to sweat about it if I'm reading it in the exam. So I can only read this mechanism effectively insulate producers. I don't from the nature of agricultural market while maintaining equilibrium price from the distance. So I also write equilibrium, price equilibrium, consumer. So that's what is discussed in BE. And I read part C. The operational intricacy of the reserve are remarkably sophisticated. Each spring, the producers delivers their okay, sorry. The operational intricacies of the reserve are remarkably sophisticated. I'll just put it here. I'll just end it here because this is where the subject ends. That's why I wanted to stop. That operational process, sophisticated operational process. That's what I was saying. C, that the operational process is sophisticated. That's what this one is. So you must make sure you are like, what's the meaning you derive from what you read. And then I go to the last one. Additionally, individual producers are allocated production quotas, which circumscribe the volume each operation may contribute, thereby preventing overproduction and maintaining a delicate equilibrium between supply and demand. Okay, equilibrium, and then I also like say production quota. That's C. That's still C. Production quota. That's like the keyword I pick out from here. And then I go to the next one. Despite its apparent efficacy, I didn't really go through what this sentence mean, but it's I feel like it's clear enough. Like each producer is given the number of things to produce. So the essence of me going through the sentence is for you to see how I make sure that I understand what the sentence is saying. So before you, if you read the sentence, before you like say I'm not saying spend the whole time reading the sentence, but make sure that, oh, you actually understood what was said. Despite its apparent efficacy, the reserve system has endangered considerable controversy, and notably one of Canada's most audacious heists. Okay. When I see this thing, it makes me remember the first time I worked on this question. Despite its apparent efficacy, the reserve has engendered a considerable controversy, and notably one of Canada's most audacious heists. Heist from movie is where I know heist. You know, heist is like when there is like robbery or something. That's where I know heist from movie. I think time is something we need to be aware of. Yeah, then I'm planning that next weekend, if we are here. I don't know if we'll be here, but I will try. We are going to do a question. I'm going to do a question. I'm not going to be explaining. I'll just do like use my method. I'm doing it, but I'll be reading it out loud, and I will be doing it to make sure that I do it using the time that is on this screen. This is more like an explanation. This is, I don't know the number of this question. I think it's number 30. Check from number 30 or something. Number 30. You can join on YouTube if it's not clear on TikTok too. If the this thing I forgot the number, I can't go back. So despite, okay, this is talking about haste. This, so it means that this reserve system has brought about like crime, hist. Like this is what this place is talking about. They are lot, the way they wrote the sentence, it might be giving you headache to try to understand what they are talking about. But I take what the things I understand and use it to make sense of what they are saying. That this reserve system created something like controversy. It created a controversy. One of Canada's most audacious heists. That's a crime like robbery. Oh, please. Sorry, you guys, just give me a moment. Let me. Okay. And then I go to the last one. Furthermore, climatological shifts, climatological shift pose existential threat to the industry as warming temperature increasingly compresses the narrow window during which sap flows optimally, potentially rendering the current reserve capacity inadequate. Okay. Then D, what I will write there is hist, which is like hist, and then I will also write inadequate inadequacy of the reserve, and then climate. I saw climate, something that has to do with climate. So this is how I just run down. I read the first line, I read the last line, I read the first line, I read the last line. I just pick something that will help me like note where certain things are, and then I go to my questions. And before we go to the question, let me repeat: E, not given, is in two type. when it is not given at all in the passage, and when is you can see the keyword, but it is not used the same way. The way it is used, it has a different meaning. What is written in the passage is different, even though, yeah, you can see the keyword, even though you can see the keyword that is in the passage. They may be talking about benefit in question, and passage is talking about process, and you think, oh, they are still talking about maybe petroleum, the reserve, and what's it called, and then, but they are talking about different meaning of something. So you know that will be used in that scenario. So let's go. The stockpile operates analog operate analogously to petroleum reserve. I will pick stockpile A. I don't know. I'll pick A. I saw petroleum when I was scanning with my eye, but I also know, like, I saw stockpile here. This is where I saw that petroleum. When I was reading, my eye quickly went to petroleum reserve. So, like I said yesterday, my eye used to do some work. But let me move on first. The pre-regulatory pre-regulatory market led family operation financially precarious. So market volatility was also discussed in A, but I don't know if it talks about family. So I would pick E, pre-regulation. Before the regulation, then I will go to I'll go to 3. Store surpluses compensate for uh, inadequate harvest years. I'll I will pick my keyword. What's it called? Stored surplus and inadequate years. Anyone I don't really see what I have in my passage, I'll pick a keyword. Store surplus compensate for inadequate years. Years of diminished yield is actually in A. They said the stockpile, both economic buffer against market volatility and a guarantor of continuity, of supply continuity during the years of diminished yield. This is like how I will still pick A here. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Sorry, I'm not even seeing what TikTok the comment again. So warming conditions threaten optimal sap. The sap is the one that they said that was dripping from. I saw sap then. I think it's in D, is in C. So I take this threaten the optimal start period, warming temperature. This is here. I start scanning from here. So I'm looking for that sap. And I'm also like, you take your keyword, warming conditions, and where they have, okay, climate, sorry, where they have climate, I will go to the climate, this thing, climatology, so zero, it matters. Furthermore, poses essential stress in the as warming temperature. You see how I say climate, climate and SAP. I know that was the two words. Climatology, because I wrote climate in D. I take it to D and I start reading. Furthermore, climatology pose essential threat to the industry as warming temperature increasingly compress the narrow window during which SAP flows optimally, potentially rendering the reserve. So the D that I wrote, that's where I wrote climate, and that was what the keyword I used. The, and another one that pointed me to the keyword, because I wrote climate down in my paragraph D. When I read warming conditions, that was when climate that I wrote down came to my head. I know that, oh, I'm looking for where I have my climate. So instead of starting from beginning to start searching for climate, I already know that I have D in my paper that points me to, oh, where it talked about climate, and that is why, like, I know, like, it was towards the end. Is in D, like, I went straight to D and I was searching for my climate, anything that has to do with climate, and also SAP. And SAP is the second word. So the next one, the Federation subsidizes producers facing financial hardship. So I will go with B or C, I will quickly, based on what I write, that's how, that, you know why I write things down, to know where I'm looking for immediate, where I'm looking at immediately, that the subsidies, and why I'm reading. Another thing is, for, like, for instance, for this question like this, that I know that I'm not really sure of the answer, that I pick something, I noted it down, which is B. And why I'm doing all this search, my eye is also like constantly thinking about that question, family. But for this one that I'm in, I would pick, what's it called, facing financial hardship. So I will go with B. I will pick my keyword, federation. Federation, when you pick your keyword, another thing that will come to my head will be government. Things that can, like synonym, you quickly think about, oh, synonyms, just in case you are searching for that word. I'm going to search for this word in C and D. That's where I'm going to quickly scan. So I'm going to put that federation in my head. I will know that, oh, if they mention government subsidy or government or regulation or government coming, as in coming to help, but you know that federation has to do with government and subsidies. We all know what it means. So I'm going to be searching for subsidies. So I'm, government subsidy, that's federation subsidy. So I'm looking for that word. I have seen family here, so I will note it in my head that I will go back to confirm this question later, but I'm searching for federation, and it's when I'm searching for federation that I am, that I saw that family. I just put it in my head that, oh, I'll use it to confirm my question later, and I see federation here. You see how I didn't read anything, but I quickly pick my keyword, and based on what I wrote down, where I wrote, production quota and all, I know. And also another thing is price equilibrium, and that was why, like, oh, I know that it could be between B and C. My location of my answer will be between B and C, because I wrote something about price equilibrium in B, and I wrote something about production quota in C. So these things point you to the right paragraph to look, instead of starting from the beginning and looking where you're not supposed to be looking and be wasting time. So I would go to this C. I see federation. Let me think. Syrup meeting federation criteria is subsequently transferred to the facility where it is stored for food grade and barrel plastic. Temperature regulated warehouse. The federation meticulously monitors global demand and projection, releases quantities accordingly, ensuring market saturation does not perpetuate price deterioration. Additionally, individual producers are allocated production quota which circumscribes the volume each operation may contribute, thereby preventing overproduction and ad- subsidizes producers facing hardship. That is not the answer. From what I read, even though there is federation, it's still not the answer. You see, like how trap can be set. I saw federation. I think my answer can be here. They talked about, like, the quantities. If I quickly read my, they talk about like how they set market, how they give production quota, but here they're talking about how they subsidize for producers. Remember the keyword, subsidizing for producers. Here they are not, they are giving quota, so it's not even the same thing. And I look for subsidy, like where they subsidize. I continue, so I continue scanning. Okay, federation. I see federation again. Beyond criminal intrigue, the federation monopolistic control has attracted criticism from decent producers who contend that stringent quotas and mandatory participation constitutes infringement upon economic liberty. Some have sold maple syrup on illicit market, incurring substantial penalties. Furthermore, no. I don't see anything about subsidy. The federation subsidy. The person that said D, where do you speak? Did you see subsidy anywhere? Subsidizes producers facing hardship. D, what they talked about here is that they are actually complaining. If you see, that's why, like, you have to, criticism from decent producers who contend that they give them stringent, this thing. So you see that all the places they have. So what you do is you use your keyword search. Make sure you read all the places they have that keyword. If you don't see it, you pick E. I don't see, they talk about production quota. Production quota is not the same thing. Production quota is a way of is limiting them. Subsidy is a way of like encouraging producers. So I will pick E. I don't know if anybody agrees or like has something to say. The production limits market over saturation effectively. I will pick C here. Preventing overproduction. That's why, because I wrote production quota. Like I'll pick C here without even going through. The theft, the theft demonstrated remarkably criminal audacity. That's that hist. I will pick D. I said it's robbery, theft. I don't know if you have watched movie where they say that hist movie. I forgot the name. The years I used to watch movie. That's what that is a theft, like robbery. That's demonstration. This is D. And then Quebec. I don't even need to read it. Quebec syrup. Quebec syrup sector holds disproportionately economic holds disproportionate disproportionate economic weight. I think it's A. That's where they mention Quebec. Yeah, I don't know. That's A. Do you guys agree or is E? International buyers potentially um secure preferential access during shortage. International buyers secure during shortage. I know there is a year of diminished. Remember, I don't know. I will look for international buyers. I know it's not in my paragraph A because I have quickly run through paragraph A now. So I'm going to be searching for international buyers. I don't see. I don't know if it's my eye not working. I don't see international buyers or any supply management is compelling registered producers to sell exclusively through. I don't see international buyers. I don't know. I don't see international buyers or anywhere or mark or preferential or anybody giving preferential treatment or something. So let me quickly confirm this number two, anyways, because my eyes have been going on that family over and over again and it's distracting me. So, pre-regulation, pre-regulation market left families operation financially precarious. So prior to decentralized management, uh producers were subject to dramatic crop production, correlating with the unpredicted harvest, leaving many family operated sugar bushes financially vulnerable. This is B. So yeah. I, so this is like how I pick my options. I can still see international buyer secure during sausage or something. So yeah, I will just go ahead and submit. Did anybody see like did anybody have another one that they don't agree with on this one? Funny enough that I've done this question before, but I've forgotten like all the options. Like it's been like I think it's in March when I remember the person I did it with for. Should I submit? So we can go. Ah, this is 3:10. Hey, I have somewhere to go by 4. Let me submit. Nobody is saying anything. So do you guys agree that this one is not there? That this one is not there? Facing facing financial hardship. Oh, we have 8. This number 3, what is it? Store surplus oh, oh, your answer is A. Okay, the answer is B, requiring. So let's see why we failed that number 3. Store surplus compensate for inadequate years. This requires, sorry, the reserve, what's this? The reserve sequesters surplus production during bountiful years, releasing stockpile syrup during years of scarcity. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we only had this one wrong. You see all my options, even this one I say, because I didn't say international buyer. For this one, I picked D. I didn't say international buyer or access. I And then which other one did I pick? E. Which one did we pick? E. This one, the federation subsidizes. You see this one now, exactly what I'm saying. There is federation, but the federation, what they did is that they gave them production quota. They did not subsidize for them. So if you see this question now, you might be thinking, um this is there because the federation gave them production quota and subsidy does not mean the same thing. So they mean different things. Subsidy is when you are trying to reduce the price for the producer so that they will be able to their prices will be cheaper. And what's it called? Why production quota is when you are telling them they must not produce over a particular distance. Is a kind of limit. Production quota is like limiting them. Subsidy is like boosting them so that they can actually like be able to sell more. So they are not the same thing. So always know that E comes in two ways. This one is when is keywords are given, but the other things following in the action word is not like subsidy and production quota are different. And the other one is when it's not given at all. When it's not given at all. So the essence of me taking time to explain is so you know, like, oh, this is how I pick this up, how I pick my option. Know that this is when you pick this particular thing, and this is when you pick this thing. So next weekend, the question I'm going to be doing. So over here, we'll just work on when we'll be working on time. So whether new people join us or not, will not would. So now that we have known how to like pick our answers, we are going to, because that's what I encourage people during your practice. Don't be quick to go and start doing time practice. If you're doing, it's more like, I'm going to be repeating my mistake and be repeating my mistake. Are the lives only during weekend? Yes, the lives are only during weekend though. Me, the work I don't have breathing space during the week. I can't even come alive during the week because by the time I'm done from work, it's late in Nigeria or other places, and I need to sleep because I have to start work that night again. So speaking and writing. Okay, so for next week, the reading we are going to be using time so that we'll do it based on time. I'm not going to take time be explaining what each sentence is saying or okay, maybe, yeah, when we finish, I may talk about like why I pick my options, but I'll just do time this thing so that it will give us time. If you people, because I think like other people want us to do speaking and writing. I don't know. YouTube people, do you people want us to do speaking and writing? But I have videos of speaking and writing that are very self-explanatory. How you build your email, how you develop your paragraph. You can check my YouTube page. However, I will see how I can incorporate it to next week's class. And then we'll start working on time. We'll not be doing this long explanation anymore. So when I come, I'll just but it might not I just want the class to be like interactive and or had it been we have a way that okay somebody will come online and I wanted it like if someone can come up and the person will pick all the options within that time frame too, within that time frame, or we can all be doing it together. You people will be giving me the options like within that time frame. We all know that we are working with time frame. If time exhausts, we are going to submit. So we better work fast. So we are going to be using time so that now that we have known like the strategy, the other one is time because time is another thing that affect people. And if you're slow reading or if you are still not understanding meaning of the sentences you're reading, kindly take your time, go to these passages. There is no when you are if you are struggling with reading and you know your problem is reading for meaning, please ignore time for the moment. Your focus should be read as many passages. You may not even go through the questions. Read as many, or you can go through the questions too. Because when you read question, make sure you read the question to understand the meaning. You read your passages. As you are reading the passages, be asking yourself, oh, what does I read this? You read one sentence. Oh, the way I will read, I will say, oh, this sentence is saying this. Tell yourself what that sentence is saying to make sure that, oh, in your own, you can simplify it to yourself. It's not about the big English, like, say this thing now. I don't even, like that one, that sequester. Yet they even put that big word. I don't even know what that means. I just saw it here, something that says sequester. Sometimes, so ignore those big words. Read it and tell yourself, oh, in simple way, this is what I understand from this passage. You can, because if you don't understand the meaning of a sentence, it will be hard for you to pick your answer. If you don't understand the meaning of a question, it will be hard for you to also pick the right answer. So you should be working on reading as much sentences as possible. Read it, interpret it to yourself. Oh, this is what, despite the big word, this is what I feel this word is talking about. You can copy that sentence, or like when you are reading any sentence that you feel like overly, you don't really understand what it's saying. Copy it, put it on Google or put it on ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to, in simple word, let it explain what this sentence is talking about. And then from the explanation, in a layman's term, from the explanation, you already know what you interpreted to yourself. Compare the two that is give the one that, oh, you the meaning you maybe is on Google, you put it on ChatGPT. Compare the two. Are they saying the same thing, or did you understand a different thing? And then it's meaning a different thing, because the moment you're not understanding your passages or your questions, that's the that's the actually the fundamental problem. It will be hard for you, because exam, that pressure of exam would also add more to it. So work first on understanding your passage, reading for meaning, and then you now, once you know that, oh, you have worked on this, you can easily now read, and immediately as you are reading the meaning of what you are reading, you are simplifying it in your head as you are reading it. Then you can now start putting in time. Don't rush to go and do exam and then do and come back, do and come back. There's no point rushing to go and do and come back when you know that you are still struggling with understanding the meaning. Thank you, thank you. I have to run out. Listening. Somebody say listening. I don't know. How do you want us to do listening? Okay. I don't know if I play this, if I play the audio loudly here, I will practice it out before the next class or anytime I have chance. I'll practice it out and see how we can do listening. I will see, because I don't know how I will be playing the audio. Will I play it on my phone or will I play it on computer and you people will hear? So I'll try and do it and see if it will work. If it works, yeah, we can do listening. But if it don't work, I really don't know how I would be playing the audio of listening, because I can't, if I listen to it alone, I can't tell you people, how would you people know what I'm listening to? So I will see how we can incorporate this listening, but not, you want to write this weekend, but not prepared. Why now? Need for my PGWP. Okay, go and do you have this set test peep? How is that? Because actually for me too, I was in your situation when I wanted PGWP. After my school exam, I only had 1 week. So that was the first time I came across this website that I'm using. I subscribed and I used them to practice for 4 days. And I went to write because I needed it for PGWP too. My friend did the same thing. It's still the same website. So you can do the weekly subscription. Do the weekly subscription if you want and practice as much as possible. I know that time being in Canada or working it can be time consuming, but you know that PGWP is very important. And if you don't get it, yeah, you'll be out of status or something. So do the weekly subscription if you, or if you have any website you're using for practice. But what you can do, since you have not prepared, I will advise, and from your responses you're actually good. So but I will advise that you do a lot of practice on speaking, practice on all the models actually. Practice if you're having this thing, you can check my YouTube page, like how I develop paragraph writing or what I quickly watch the videos. You can watch one word on each one. You don't have to watch everything, or just do a sample practice first. Know your weak point, and that is what I advise people. When you want to start out, you don't know where to start. You can, even before subscribing to Celpip, you can first use their sample free practice, their free practice sample practice. Use it, do the free practice. You know that, oh, this area I'm not doing well, this is the area I need to channel my energy on, this is where I failed woefully, this thing is difficult. So it will tell you, oh, this is the level of difficulty that the exam has, and then you can now start focusing on it. So do the sample practice, iz beauty. So do the sample practice and know the areas that you're going to, then subscribe. Since your exam is this weekend, please subscribe and do it. You can DM me for the discount code. If you need the 15% discount code, if you want it, you can DM me, I will give you. But regardless, even if it's not self-test, we make sure you have something you are practicing with. Practice is very important. I'm not going to lie to you, because I don't know. If it's not practice help me know the requirement of every question, and that will just help me write my exam in 4 days. Practice help you to know, this is different question sample, and that is what, like, sometimes when I come across a question, I see it in my mind, I will first predict, oh, this is what they're asking about. This is likely answer. You see, because I already like practicing helps me do this. You know, oh, even in speaking, you already know, because they don't change anything. Part one, you know that, oh, this is the requirement. Part two of speaking, you know, this is the requirement. Part eight, you know that there's always like two requirements. They will tell you to invite the person. They will tell you to describe what you can see, and later ask you to invite that person. So practicing helps you to know that each task, there is this require. I already know that all my tasks, I know the requirements. So the only thing is that the question might be that the question, sorry, I don't know what TikTok people are saying. They're sending me a message. So I, I already know that the requirements of my question, I already know the requirement that they want for my question. So practice and get ready. Please subscribe. DM me. I'll give you the discount code. And see you people next week. I need to run along. I will put the time. Okay, let's agree on time before we leave, actually. Or I'll put it. The people here, do you people have a preferred time? Maybe Saturday we'll still do 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Mountain Date Time, and Sunday 1 p.m. It will still remain the same, technically, because people even came late today, even though we started 1 hour late. So see you guys, YouTube, next week. Bye.